Hello everyone, Mighty Joe here. Today I'm going to do a video explanation of an idea I've come up with for the two-hand pinch Euro apparatus that's real popular right now in grip competitions. As many of you know, there's kind of a controversy, or not necessarily a controversy, but a problem of how to reduce the time in a contest and still have different widths on the device without having to take the whole thing apart. But let me back up for those that don't know. The two-hand pinch apparatus was invented by David Horne. He's the one that come up with it. And what it is, you got a piece of pipe and you got two discs, two steel discs that go on the pipe. These will come off. And then there's a spacer material in between these two steel discs. That's so you can adjust the width. And then you have collars, usually York spin collars, that tighten up against these two plates and the spacer material. Now this is fixed. And then you start adding your weights for whatever weight that may be that the competitor wants to try and two-hand pinch. Okay. Now with that being said, here's the problem. The spacer material in between the two steel discs is rubber, and they're various thicknesses, and you can take the whole thing apart, take out or add some more rubber discs to make this width from outside to outside different widths. The numbers I'm going to use today is 45 millimeters, 50 millimeters, 55 millimeters, and 60 millimeters. Okay, here's what I come up with. I suggested at first just to have one width and let everybody train for that width and just be done with it. You ain't got to change nothing. But I came to find out real quick that ain't going to work, because the whole spirit of the design is to be able to change this width. Okay, so here's my idea. You'll notice I'm suggesting, I hope you can see that, is one of the discs will be called a faceplate. And what can be done, and me and my son Cody's we're in the process of making a prototype right now. The most narrow width would be the two discs as it is, and in this case it'd be 45 millimeters. The next one, you take three plates of equal dimensions except for the thickness, and you'll weld them right here, equally spaced. One will be thicker than the other. So you can have 45 millimeters, this one would be 55, this would be 50, this would be 60. Okay, so what that'll do with these welded in place, and there's not one here, and keep in mind, to get this all done right, you'll have to do the math. You have to figure out, I mean, I didn't get these exact, but they would be plates welded onto the face of one of the discs. This would be called your face plate, and this could be done to people's existing two-hand pinch device. That way you ain't got to buy a whole nother device. But you weld three plates on, whatever the numbers are going to be. I just used arbitrary numbers here for demonstration purposes. Okay, I called Eric Millfeld up and ran over this idea with him, and we kind of went over some issues, you know, plus or minus maybe problems you would have with this idea. But we quickly discovered that a few of the problems you might run into would be so minuscule that it probably wouldn't matter. For instance, you have these plates welded on here, and it could create, Eric mentioned, well, it could create maybe pulling to one side or the other depending on which side's thicker. Well, I think it'd be so minute you'd never notice it, but to compensate a little, I kept the most narrow across from each other and the thickest across from each other to help compensate, instead of having like the thickest over here and the thinnest over here. If you understand what I'm saying. So you're at a contest, somebody wants to start at 55, you don't change anything except the weights, but to change the thickness, you just roll the apparatus around. There's your thickness. Now you're ready to go. The next guy, say he wants 60. You roll it around, put the appropriate weight on, he goes. Next guy wants 45. He wants a thinner width. Change the weight appropriately, he lifts. The apparatus has never been tore down. The only thing that's pretty much a given here is you'd have to come up with 4 widths that everybody agrees upon, or to even make it more versatile, someone could start making face plates, and then everything would be the same for people that already have existing 2-hand Euro pinches, except they could get a face plate, or instead of having to buy one, they could do their own. Just whatever thicknesses, widths you want, you got to figure out what they are, do the math, draw it up correctly, weld them up, and you're ready to go. And I think it'd be a lot easier. I myself and Eric, I think it's a great idea. He thought it was a brilliant idea. So all I'm trying to do is help solve a problem here. So that's my idea. It would save money. Nobody would be out a lot of money to have to change their existing one. They could do it themselves, or if somebody went to making face plates, they could buy one. And that's pretty much it. And I racked my brain all day the day after I seen that the single width wasn't going to work. And that's what I come up with. So any alternative that I've tried to think of is a whole new design, everybody having to buy new apparatuses completely, and that's what I come up with. So I hope this helps. When me and my son get our prototype built, I'm going to Eric Millfeld's and Paul Knight's in Fort Worth, and we'll go give it a test, and then I'll do another video. Hope this helps. Hope you like the idea, and maybe we can get something resolved here. Thanks for your time.